Hello guys, welcome to a new video. And in this new video, we are going to filter network in EIGRP based on prefix list and also a distribute list. And the difference between prefix list and a distribute list is that um, a distribute list uses access list to filter networks, and a prefix list does not uses access list, but they both filter traffic. Okay, so before I start this video, I want to give a shout out to my 113 subscribers on YouTube. I know I have a lot of videos. The subject is not that great. I think I could do a better job of it. But I mean, I have over. Let me see how many videos I have. I think I have over 120, 100, like 120 videos, 140 videos on YouTube, and at least 40 of them are based off CCNP, and like I have 100, almost like 100 video based on CCNA. So if you want to go ahead and subscribe to my channel, go ahead and do it. I have plenty of content. I at least put out 3 videos or 4 videos per week. And now, um, also, I want to give it a shout out to my latest subscriber. My latest one was Jiang Ragansho, Miklos Kovacs. And then I have the good neighbor comment. Please note that your voice volume is too low. Please adjust that. Also try to speak a little bit slow. Okay, I will try to speak a little bit slow. And my voice is going to be louder now because I am in the basement. Before I was not in the basement. And I did not want to speak loud because I didn't want to wake up my pregnant wife. And shout out to my new subscriber Ash Spider, Maurice Monders, and Felipe Avelino. Thank you guys for subscribing. And now let's go ahead and start with this network over here. And I'm going to be using GNS3 because what I want to do, um, you cannot do it in packet tracer. So you need to have either even G and or GNS3, like I have right here. Packet tracer is not going to work. I'm sorry guys for that. I don't know when they're going to add the prefix list and a distribute list, but they should add it. It should be cool. But let's go ahead and start with this topology. And first, like always, let's give it a host name. This is router 1 over here. Let's configure the IP addresses. So let's go ahead to the interface gigabit 00, which is the one pointing to router 2. Um, and the IP address that I have over here, 172.16.1.1/30, which is 252. Give it a no shutdown. Now let's go ahead to gigabit 01 IP address, 192.168.1.1, private IP address, right? 252. Give it a no shutdown. Now what we need to do, let's go ahead to router EIGRP. And let's configure autonomous system 1, and remember that that number needs to match for all the other routers, otherwise they won't be able to form a neighbor relationship, right? And now let's just go ahead and do no auto summary. Network 192.168.1.0. Wildcard match for 252 or /30 is 3. Now the other network, which is 172.16.1.0, 3. Okay, so I have configured the network, um, the router EIGRP, the dynamic router EIGRP, and I added the networks and configure the interfaces. Now let's go ahead to router 2, config T. Let's go to interface gigabit 0, IP address 172.116.1.2.252. Now shut down. And now I should be able, since it came up, to ping 172.16 .1.1, which is router 1. There we go, I'm able to ping it. Great. Now I want to do a couple of loopback addresses for the 40, for the 50, and the 60. So IP loopback 0. The address is 40.40.1/24. There we go. Now let's do another one, which is the 50 network /24. And then let's do look back to the 60 network /24. Great. And now let's go ahead and configure EIGRP, and then let's add all these networks. The first network that I want to add, let's do now the summary first. The first network that I want to add is going to be 172.16.1.0/30, which is wildcard mask of 0.0.0.3. And that should bring me a neighbor relationship now with router 1. If we do show IP EIGRP neighbor, there we go. Here's our neighbor. Great. Now let's go ahead and add the other networks, which is 40.40.40.0. And this one is going to be 255 because that's a /24. And then let's add the 50 network and the 60 network. Great. And now if I go to router 1, show IP route, should be able to see the routes to the loopback addresses, the 40, the 50, and the 60. I actually do not want the 60, so I'm going to deny that with a prefix list, but I'm going to do that later after I configure router 3. So let's go ahead and configure router 3 first. Let's give it a host name, router 3. Let's go to interface gear 01, 192.168.1.2, and /30 is 252. Now after that interface comes up, I should be able to ping router 1. I'm just doing that so I can to see if I have connectivity before I can configure EIGRP. Great. Now let's go ahead and configure the loopback addresses. And IP address for the first one is going to be 10.10.10.1/24. And then loopback 1, IP address 20.20.21/24. And then last one, 30. Oops, almost did it on the same one. We gotta go to loopback 2 first, and then we can configure the 30 network. There it is. And now we need to configure EIGRP autonomous system 1. Remember, it needs to match with router 1, otherwise it won't work, right? And let's go ahead and do so just to go now the summary, and then let's go network, and let's add the 192 network so we can form a neighbor relationship first. 3 because it's /30. There we go. We have a neighbor relationship now. So if we do show IP EIGRP neighbor, there it is. We have a neighbor relationship with 192.168.1.1 coming from gigabit 01. Okay, so that's great. Now let's go ahead and add the loopback addresses. 10.10.10.0, that's /24, 255. At the 20 network, and then let's add the 30 network. So now, if we go to router 1, we should be able to see, first, we should be able to see more routes. So we have the 10, the 20, the 30, the 40. So the 10, the 20, the 30 is coming for router 3, and the 40, the 50, and the 60 are coming for router 2. And also, if you can go ahead and show IP route, and should be able to see routes coming from router 2, the 40, the 50, the 60, also the 172, which is this one right here. Okay, so this is working the way I wanted it. So now I just want to go ahead and filter out some routes. So the first route that I want to filter is the 60 network. I don't want that network in my routing table. So I can go ahead and filter that, and I'm going to filter that using a prefix list and IP prefix list. Let's do a question mark, and you gotta name it. Let's just name it as Cisco. After that, what do you want to do? I just want to deny. And then it's going to ask you like, what is it that you want to deny? I want to deny the 60, that 60, that 60, that 0 network slash 24, and then less than equal to 32. This means is that it's going to block the slash 24 all the way to the slash 32, right? It's going to be less than equal to 32 and all the way to the 24, or the 24 all the way to the 32, however you want it. Okay, so I have done that. Let's see. Now we got to go to router, EIGRP, autonomous system 1, redistribute, prefix list. Let me see, redistribute, not redistribute, distribute list, prefix, and which one is the one that we want to use? We want to use the Cisco, right? Which is the name of it. And then, I'm sorry for that, it is incomplete. Now we got to put it, where do you want to actually put it? I want to put it coming in gigabit 01 because that's where I'm getting those network. And if we come over here, the 40 coming out of gigabit 00, 50 out of 00, and the 60 out of 00 as well. So it's the 60 that I want to block. So let's go ahead and do that in gigabit 0/0. And now if you go in, show IP route only EIGRP, I still see that 60 network. There we go. We needed to wait for EIGRP to resync, and now it resynced. And what happened? I removed all of the networks, the 40, the 50, and the 60 network. And why is that? That's because when you do a deny for a prefix list, it works the same as an access list. So when you deny something, it adds an explicit deny at the end. So you need to allow the other network. So let's go ahead and do that. Config T, IP prefix list. Um, the one is Cisco, and I want to permit the what is it? The 40, that 40, that 40, 0/24, less than equal to 32. And let's also add the 50 network because I want the 50 network as well. Okay, now let's go ahead and end show IP route. It's still not showing. We gotta wait for it to resync. There we go. It was able to resync, and now we should be able to see the routes. There you go. Now we see the 40 and the 50 because we are allowing it. We are permitting it. Okay, so this is great. I have now filtered the 60 network that I didn't want. Great. So now, also if you go to router 3 should not be able to see those routes, or not those routes, just the 60 network. It's also being removed from router 3 because router 1 is not getting it, and then router 1 is now going to advertise it to router 3, right? So now let's go ahead to router 1, config T, and let's remove, I want to deny the 20 network, okay? So we're going to deny it by using a distribute list, and the way they do that is by doing an access list. So if we do IP access list, right, and then we are going to do an extended access list, which is 100. Actually, not IP. Let's just do access list 100, and then it's going to ask you like, oh, so what do you want to do? I want to deny, and like, what do you want to deny? I want to deny an IP address. Where is it coming from? Let's see, where is the 20 coming from? The 20 network is coming from via 192.168.1.2. That 1.2. And now it's saying, let me see if I get this right. So the source, so let's just not do IP. Let's just leave it host on recognize command. Let's see, deny. Sorry for that. Let's see. Okay, yeah, deny IP, and then you do host. So IP and then host 192.168.1.2 because that's where it is coming from, right? The 20 network is coming via 192.168.1.2. And now after that, we want to put the destination, which is 20.20.20.0. And then it's going to ask you for the wildcard bits, which is 0.0.0.255. Okay, enter that. And then remember the access list. Whenever you create one, at the end it always adds a explicit deny, so you have to permit the other networks. So permit IP any. I want to permit any IP after I blocked this first one over here, right? The 20.20.20 network. There we go. And now let's go ahead to router EIGRP, and we have to implement that distribute list. And it's going to ask you which one do you want to do. And we're not going to do a word or anything like that. We did not name it. What we did was we created one that it was from 1 to 199, so it was number 100. So let's go ahead and put 100. And then coming in where? It's coming from gigabit 01, right? If we go back up over here, you can see the 20 network is coming via gigabit 01. So let's go put gigabit 01. There we go. So now let's just go ahead and show IP route. And I want to show IP route EIGRP. And as you can see, it resynced. So now, as you can see over here, now we are blocking the 20 network. We're still getting the 10 network and the 30 network, but we are blocking the 20 network. And if we go to router 2 and show IP route, and only want to show the EIGRP route, you can see that it is also not showing over here because since router 1 is blocking it, it's not getting it, it's not going to advertise it to router 2, right? So this is great, guys. So this is all I wanted to do. Let's go ahead and add a bonus for you guys. And the bonus that I want to add is that I want to configure um, EIGRP authentication or MD5. And the way that you can do that is let's go ahead to first router 1. Which one was this one? Router 2. I did not configure hostname. So let's go ahead and configure hostname for router 2. Hostname router 2. Good. So now let's go ahead to config T and let's configure EIGRP authentication. And what you need to do is for that, you actually need to create a key and create a keychain and then attach that keychain to the interface, right? So let's go ahead and do that, guys, for you. And let's go ahead and create a keychain. Let's name it Cisco, and the key ID, let's name it 1, and the key string is going to be Cisco 1. Great. Now let's go ahead to interface gigabit/0, which is where I want to add it over here. And you need to do an IP authentication mode EIGRP 1. We're going to use MD5. And after I do that, it's going to use that key, or it's going to use authentication, and the EIGRP neighbor is going to go down. There we go. Like I said, it's going to go down because now um, Gigabit 00 is asking for authentication with EIGRP and MD5. And since router 2 does not have it, we have to also configure router 2 with that. So before I can do that, I need to configure IP authentication. And we need to add keychain. The name of the keychain that I added was Cisco. There we go. So let's go ahead and do Cisco right here. And then EIGRP. Actually, it needs to be EIGRP first, 1. And then we can just add the keychain name, which is Cisco. Now let's go ahead and do the same with router 2. And as you can see, we are getting this error that it is failing because we don't have that keychain configured. So let's go ahead and create that keychain. Let's call it Cisco, key ID 1, key string is going to be 1 Cisco, right? Now let's go ahead to key interface gigabit 00, I, IP, authentication, mode, EIGRP MD5. And it is still going to fail, I believe, because we have not attached the key. Because now router 1 is still sending a key with a key string, and router 2 does not have it because it is not configured on that interface. So let's go ahead and do that. IP, authentication, keychain, EIGRP 1 Cisco. And now we should be able to form a neighbor relationship again, right? It's taking a little bit. Let me verify everything. Keychain EIGRP1 Cisco, keychain Cisco on capital. Let's go over here. Keychain Cisco, Cisco 1. Okay, so I believe since this one is not matching, because its key string needs to match. So let's go ahead and configure that again. Let's go to keychain Cisco key string key ID 1 key string is Cisco 1, right? Let's configure. Let's verify that. Yep, Cisco 1. So here we go. Now we have formed a neighbor relationship because the key string is matching the same one to router 1. Okay, so this is great. Now let's go ahead and configure on gigabit 01. But since we have this key chain already configured, we are just going to use the same keychain that we have. So let's go to interface gigabit 0/1, IP. Actually, if we just go up, authentication, mode EIGRP1 MD5, and then keychain EIGRP1 Cisco. And now the neighbor relationship went down, as you can see right here, because of the authentication mode has changed. So let's go to router 3 and configure that. Key chain Cisco, key ID 1, key string Cisco 1, remember that? Now let's go to interface gigabit 0/1, IP authentication, and then mode EIGRP 1 MD5, IP authentication, keychain EIGRP 1, and the keychain that I named was Cisco. And now they should be able to bring up that neighbor relationship again. And there it is. So if we do it from router 1 and show IP EIGRP neighbor, we should be able to have both networks. And what we did was we authenticated that network with a keychain and a key string. And this is all for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you guys enjoyed this video, go ahead and click the like button, subscribe to my channel. Also, go ahead and follow me on Twitter at CCNA Daily Tips. And if you don't have a Twitter account, go ahead and create a Twitter account and then follow me, CCNA Daily Tips. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.